If you're moving to Charlotte and you think buying a home here works the same way it does in your current city, this video might save you a lot of frustration. I see relocation buyers make the same mistakes over and over again, and as a former teacher, I'll tell you, once someone actually explains how the market works here, most of these mistakes are completely avoidable. Quick note, if you're planning to move to Charlotte, I help relocation buyers do this all the time. You can call or text me directly at 984-306-5668 or click the link in the description below to get in touch and schedule a quick chat. So let's start with the biggest mistake that I see. Many relocation buyers assume Charlotte is just this one big uniform market. It's not. To put this in perspective, the city of Charlotte alone covers just over 300 square miles. But then you hear people talk about Greater Charlotte, and what they're usually talking about is Concord, Charlotte, Gastonia metro areas, which span more than 3,000 square miles across North Carolina. And that includes areas like Huntersville and Lake Norman, Matthews and Mint Hill. But then in our greater area, we also bleed into South Carolina a little bit. So parts of the upstate like Fort Mill, Rock Hill, Lancaster, and York counties. So we're not just a city, we're an entire region. And within that space, pricing, competition, inventory, taxes, school system, and lifestyle can change dramatically from one area to the next. For example, a $450,000 budget can look very different in East Charlotte than it does in South Charlotte or Lake Norman or just across the state line in South Carolina. In one area, that price point might mean multiple offers. In another, it can mean negotiation opportunities. This is why citywide averages and online rankings can be a little misleading for relocation buyers. From a teacher perspective, this is where being focused and differentiated really makes a difference. Charlotte isn't just one market, it's dozens of micro markets. Mistake number 2 is choosing a neighborhood before understanding commute and lifestyle. I see buyers that fall in love with an area online because there's great photos, great rankings, and then they realize later that the day-to-day just doesn't work for them. Commute patterns matter here. Living north of the city or South Charlotte or just over the South Carolina line can feel very different depending on where you work and when you're on the roads. Lifestyle matters too. Are you looking for walkability? Do you want a yard? Do you want new construction? Quiet streets? Don't worry, there's no quiz at the end of this video, although there should be, and you should have some honest answers to those questions. So the best neighborhood isn't about hype, it's about fit. That's where a thoughtful approach makes all the difference. Another big mistake is relying too heavily on national headlines or online averages. Charlotte doesn't behave like New York, Florida, or California. Even within the metro area, buying a home under $400,000 can feel very different than buying above $600,000. Competition changes, concessions change, leverage changes. Online data can be super helpful, but it doesn't always reflect what's happening on the ground. This is where I put my teacher hat back on and remind people that context matters. Local insight matters. Now, mistake number 4 is waiting too long to talk to a local agent. Lots of relocation buyers wait until they're already visiting Charlotte to start planning. At that point, everything sort of starts to feel urgent. But the buyers who feel the least stressed are the ones who prepare early. They understand pricing, leverage, timeliness, and what a strong offer actually looks like here. That preparation helps turn chaos into clarity, which admittedly is pretty on brand for a former teacher. So what do smart relocation buyers do instead? They learn how the Charlotte metro market works by area and price range. They compare options in North Carolina and South Carolina thoughtfully. They narrow down neighborhoods based on commute and lifestyle, not just rankings, not just social media, not that very good-looking Instagram reel you saw. They understand where they have leverage and where they don't, and they build a strategy before making emotional decisions. That's a focused, thoughtful, differentiated way to approach a relocation. And it's also how you avoid feeling overwhelmed in the process. If you're planning to move to Charlotte and want help making the right decisions before you buy, I'm happy to help you. You can call or text me directly, 984-306-5668, or click the link in the description to schedule a quick call. Even if you're early in the process, a short conversation now can save you time, money, and a little bit of stress later on.